That means it's time to leave. Hello, subscribers of my channel, viewers of this video, here's a short video I'd like. Show the nuances of disassembling the steering gear of a Lada WOW for the most complex operations. I'll eat the bipod for this. The steering rod sash, unscrew the nut and completely remove it, like you can tighten it here. Plant the dryer itself clamp in a vise, do not clamp or tank not on a normal thigh when. How much is there for 26 for the night and how much for 30 and outside the key with a cap key it is advisable to run up to. Or a Dana 30 head unscrews the genre from powerfully. The thread is right-handed until it is tightened. It happens so it needs to be normal. It's normal for us to rest against the torn keys, but when you read it's easier for them to go. You can loosen those that hit the edges. But you need to hit through 2 hammers. Here's one organism in a pressed state lying down. No need to unscrew it. Calling names means we'll take it. Put it on the anvil like this. Carefully put it on the anvil on the edge and apply 2-3. Blow and so each from the space. Yes, gasps, but it will come off easy to open. Easy dacha. We clamp it behind the ear fastening too. I'll see a strong annoyance. Then remove the nut. Unscrew the nut on the barrel. Remove the rover, then remove the nut. We twist that the braco was at our level. Here is the face and the threads of the ice threads. Even a little echo can protrude upward. Cases, we just change it at the level. At the science level there is a puller. Yes, here's a puller on pullers. They just turn into. In 90% of cases it is impossible to remove it. You need to heat it up in order to remove it. You need to heat it up. Show the heating zone. And the side from where to extend it tight like this. We already have the nut screwed on without the rover at the level. People understand this. Red hot. This is what it was like on the fly, standing, heating until red hot on this side. Just look, we're directing the nozzles like this so that he can't listen here and he won't get better sooner than from this old one. It's normal, in principle, it's not necessary there and you don't need hardware rags yet. It turns out heat transfer and diode. Fact, the show can get red hot. We heat it up, you can see it's blackened. Here's another, it's removed from the warm-up. Andre. First we warm up the sides when we are full, then we break through this water, cooling everything or not in any case, here. Heated up and red hot, we quickly turn them over again here so that it goes well, like this. Side of the altar, but in principle it takes a long time to break through, and then, as it were, we take this position. We put it in the extreme position, not earlier we put the Windows workbench when I'm holding the con, let's say look through. We wrap the rag around the capper. A direct blow will not be strong, Maulana run, it's like a miracle through a sledgehammer. Through us like this so sharply energetically powerful thing Rodan 2 strikes because it has. If he didn't go to Rome again, now he'll come in, he'll go the first time. Well, there was no case above, heated up red hot, Shabanova is tired. It takes a long time to warm up, don't worry, it will warm up. So we've probably removed this dryer. Next, to do everything, remove the bipod, unscrew it, and we'll just say, unscrew the nut. Yes, here we remove it. Remove it to the side, then unscrew the lid, lift it up, align the side, take it out. With all these reasons, here's the cover, that's what we have. The adjusting bolt is the bolt, and that's where you go. It will be while the channel enters and the bob will calm down while it lives the works settled to the side we take it out so it could walk like this. I shallowed the side a little so that it could be, well, show me, a washer is inserted onto the bolt. Yes, let's cut the vines. The puck is when it comes in. Here you have it. I would show you the carcass. I unscrew it, and from below, on the gas, to me from the inside because. Yes, it's important for the doctor that this dog is specially carried. I saw that the knives. She doesn't understand. Going down on you see the puck. She's not just the prices there, I'm on purpose. I see it's polished. Yes, it's in several sizes. They will select Hecate washers. Process if but on snipe and one more moment during the operation of disassembly the lid sag. Yes, it happens. Bullshit in the neck, you have to knock it back, coach. Well, as they said, wear it there. Actively exploited before this, it happens. Such that it's not she who leaves, on the contrary, they climb up the world and she just has to, well, a little bit just on level ground. Fold the surface and screw the plug through it and don't unscrew the Chinese robot, but without fanaticism we do it. We put something in there, then Shabana friendship was a little bit, well, let's say it's not you. This one in Porsche there was a small gaplet. We take this from above and, well, through some powerful one, I basically cover it. Can be replaced by and large if you are repairing the cover is not a problem, so everything with this is clear. Then while we have. It turns out that we pull it out. Look, screw on the top cover. It turns out that this one comes out. We all took it off. It's similar. They removed the shaft from the cover calmly. You can't. They took out the shaft of the left leg. Now we have a video left. Now the passwords are where to. About the adjusting washer. Here's the care. Unscrew the 4 bolts. Here we unscrew the 4. Removing the bolts, all the same, all on 8, they had the same length and they were all become without engraving the site of the darga of the circle. There is no need there, in principle, there are no sealants, there is nothing to eat, there are gaskets about. This is the gasket. Let's go further. Here we remove it under this hook. There is a set of washers, this washer. Adjusting Dutro in different sizes. Yes, they are different sizes depending on the sizes they come in, about 7 or 8. Like a spread and a plow of them there in commemorative crowns, or as there are very thin there, or in general if you are like foil there is just. It's on the metro line to Toos, so you have to push to why this is being done for what we have. We have the latest bearings. Here are the bearings to drive their bearings to the calculation quieter. We show pull and the bearings we have. 2 types of the old sample. This is the old and new sample. There is the old sample. The new model of you will be massive, but the old metal one was thrown around. By and large, there is not much difference, no, but without borders, and in many cases they are not in good condition. Again, we look carefully, we look at landing place bearing landing here. It should be this is not suitable. The parameter is here, but there are shells here, a bunch of shells. From the board to see you at all, to identify the shells you don't even need to be 7 spans in the forehead of a gon. We carry out a fingernail and you feel the current behind the miracle of Shinnok. Then this is no longer a radio in terms of bearings. 2 types of clips, 1 large thick jar. Yes, that means look, the clip is inserted 1, you won't miss it, and the second one turns out to be on both sides for this very day, it doesn't. In any case, as if blindly, the entire seal here is on one side, but the seals must be changed during any disassembly. In principle, the column itself is pretty good. Here is where the oil seal is located. It is driven under the cut and it turns out cut exactly right from here, flush here. The inner clips are narrow, puts it down here, then almost yourself now. There is a small nuance. It needs to be planted tightly. It has not been known for a long time. Here you need to look, and the Shabana is seated tightly because it happens that the landing is not press sliding, it's just that it's so well there for the formal haraga. Carefully, well, you have to hammer it in here, but she's like, here it should be clearly tightly, he passed it on, and she. It gets hammered, but as if without much effort, it's successful. Well, people will have opinions. No, it's normal for the limit in this case. We'll crush everyone. They have hammered. They have set up the sled. If this current is the oil seal, we are for the servants. They are clogged at first. They only carried out the clip. Sat down. Weighted tightly. Fine. Okay. Let's not wash it down with the oil seal. Let's take it here. Put it in. Let's start. Let's do it. We lower the metal one, and so we'll put the body there. Here's the top. Here's the suryak. Here's through the top. Here's a little bit of everything on top. Here's one side we have to stand. Now we have the other side left here, a sliding landing in this. So we put all this lubricant on here before dinner. Oil according to tactics. Don't anger the tonic with such rubbish. Just a basin, that's all. Lubricated by one husband. Otherwise they're from zero to complete death of Cindy. We begin to devour the washers. They put it here. They installed it here. Sliding, but it can be used on it. Then you can get it. We will have it sticking out. This is the outer ring. It will be. Peek out a little bit for that given so that we can adjust on those. Now we put it on them. The puck in, and now we are starting to adjust. They will step put there. You can Cheshire stood there before put it or clamp it in. At the same time we dress Bruce with innocence. Look not so that the eye pops out onto the forehead like an ordinary bolt on guests in. 125 tighten all the tape and a kilogram of plums. It will show that there are forest ones tightened and not. Spinning you will feel crunching. In no case this is not possible because you are big on the iron. There will be a seal. Twisting you, just twisting. Look, there's no need there. It's very big. They pulled up two, then two looked. There shouldn't be any play at all, and it should turn easily. They didn't want to use it for 2 kilos. We can handle 2 kilograms, so we adjust the worm we install, adjusted everything. All the whole adjustment consists of replacing the washers with more growth or a more subtle process. We understood this. We figured out what to do next. Everything was restored from us. It's ready, and now I'll show the girls. Yes, here she is installing. We have everything assembled. Yes, say yes for this. There is no Luther column at all until it spins. They drowned them with 2 kilograms. It should spin with. Moscow should be plentiful, but we are political and the excess flows out. Let it be nothing scary. Don't even look. You see, yes. Replaced oil seal. No play. What to do next? Next, we take whatever the roller. Wow, yes, ruble. Heaven, who the bipod shaft is all just installed, called for lubricate and lubricate under yourself and see for yourself right away. This is a must necessarily, Pony Maddens, so you don't sell the steering wheel inside lubricated in that bushing. We will lubricate it later. On the kidneys there will be a separate video on how to press them and then change. It is yours. Everything is installed. Take the cover means. Be sure to take a paper gasket. Here the gasket is paper on top. It is unregulated, nothing, just ordinary paper treasure. There you can, if you wish, you can tell us how much you love this very army. Sealant, well, by and large, if we get a new lid, everything will be fine. Well, the old one can be put on it. Shit, just how out of mind the USA is, although by and large if it hits you, it's not an engine, you can also get kicked out. How you want it all. So when we put it on we start adjusting it. We screw in this adjusting bolt. I'll put it in. Don't let us show you how it's regulated as it should be, and that's it. And their people are already regulating it, so what can we do? We need to show him now. Let him go all the way down. Answered. This hole will close now on here in. Fail to give the producer and twisted right away. You can knead it for me first and as if we're raising a shaman. It was lifted, then we tighten it along the beam. Now we will hammer in the oil seal of this very popular category. Little roller was given. Drying the drying shaft before. For this we will need a sealant Sudol vessel for reliability, although in principle. It's done at the seal. I see it's a flange. Well, here you can seat it as if it wouldn't be worse and even better. To be on the safe side, look that the surface was without potholes, without chips. There are scratches. This is very important because you have oil here. You will be chasing this as a quick stand clothes. This instantly flies out from the side there. Well, half of it has flowed out, and then I'll be here all the time, which means we'll put a wooden block, see after 3. Orange raise rag. Are you cardboard? Well yes, because that means Dasha is clear cut without inclusions of metal bolts. There is a very important SHGPI, the upper part we will just stand above to study, on which the cap will then be put on. I removed everything with the steering wheel. Now we coat it liberally without being embarrassed, using this method without fanaticism. The gate is scary big for me. We put the pages here initially. We hammer it in now through the female stage of such a fungus. In principle, any flat one. Well, we can also hit the hammer. Now we need to plant it further than this word, as it were. Strength for this I did here. There is a special right point guides important because that, and so that it skews with the rest until it stops. It comes down to, well, in principle, and so much so, as if without fanaticism. Beats. What can you learn from the pipes? They can be cool, strong guys. You can perish. Do this again if there is any suspicion of a leak, and it will leak. Let's take it and encourage it. Liberally, but in principle. When the rest of the rubber dries, we'll lubricate it, then we'll remove the excess and it will be beautifully went into the groove of this one, and even if it leaks somewhere there anyway, that this will protect here. And yes, here it turns out that we have no pressure. By and large there is no pressure at all. Just under the very thing. Here we are. So here we are, covering up the mobile phone. Then we'll remove the cloth and, in principle, the seal can be. It was possible to hammer in the chi just before assembling it. It was just greasy to the sky. In general, it was possible to pick up the body already before. The assembly itself was already in the process of assembling. It was assembled there. Nothing scary. It's an advertising feature and did not sharpen the training videos on. Training, by the way, if you want, I can send the assembled box by new mail, and this same block is not. The question is the price. It will affect the 450 temporary exchange full because, well, you will have to call your body. It remains that in the USA we will have it assembled there from a repair kit or whatever the kit scenario is at the moment. Qualitatively more than 1,000 hryvnia accordingly will be assembled from normal spare parts. She leaves there a resource. Well, maybe not 500,000 at high school the ankle walks. Well, in general, she has a resource there. Factory with proper wheel alignment adjustment. Let's take pictures of this world. Let's continue the show. It will look like this. Well, everything is fine. I have the same technology. Basically the same technology for installing this second seal of the West. Now we are installing the shaft. I am now installing all this. Shows how it will be, means that's it. We lubricate the bipod shaft externally. We set the price tag. We also lubricated before the main thing. We definitely lubricate it. We lubricate the bushings, we lubricate the oil seal. It's no use showing so that her dirty hands are not in the frame, we're showing it all. As if dry, but in the future this is all when assembling all the details. Be sure to watch, you won't spoil the radios on your feet, yes. And in general, in any car repair, the engine, wherever they touch, preferably lubricate everything and let it liberally. It's better to fill it out, look for it, but the car looks like this. 17 The mask is used as we already showed, and take it. Insert the adjusting bolt with a special washer. Look at the washer, we select it. If it's loose, we select it. Well, they will already do the juice for repairs, and this one because the puck is cashback and the standard one is the standard size Lynette, they seem to. Each column is selected separately. I understand that in the end you are left with the Toshiba that was on your column from this. Everything is fine. Well, by and large. How can I say it in particular? Well, how does it influence? But it has adjusting bolts exactly in. As if they themselves had poked me for a few years. The prince, by and large, people Masha sticks out a piece. The laptop is not that there is such a clever bolt. The essence is that Chevrolet was well trusted. Don't pray. The video passed by like a cart, the whole video. It stands like this, yes, and it has an adjustable piece of this bullshit. Literally there are two here. There's nothing left. I'll give you the length. There is no role in regulating their possession. Let's move on. Now we'll insert the gasket. Install the cap. Put on the cap and install everything right now. Tighten the bolts. So that everything is centered, we attach bolts with M8125 thread. Cap new edges on 13, they are standard all 8, there are 8 pieces in total on the column, all of these are the same length so you don't by confuse 2 on them. Twist, now twist while you do it was yes until Misha the knife. We'll press the lid, all the lid is pressed, and now we tighten the bolts and the needle. We do this so that we are here. Nothing sooner lived than when this will happen. If ours is not raised then the lid is not lowered and we will be well understandable. Let's put everything in there, and the guy's lid has a lot of effort on the bolt, so we get it. You see the lid has sat down, the shaft has sat down, everything has sat down in. In principle, the internal engagement is correct. I entered with the roller, accordingly, everything is already in its place. The only thing is that now we will show how the adjustment is also made, in principle, without the column being in a lift state, only in the middle position until we have a worm type column. It's made so that when it falls out, well, when it turned in any direction, there is a gap on the ball, then we check accordingly that there is no gap. In a state of anger, exactly in the position on average. If you make it not on average, it will just jam, it will be average it. Also, well, as if on the 8-9 they have tasks not for a man, they are rack and pinion speech, not a mechanism. And this is why the Zhiguli steering column wears out when the toe is adjusted incorrectly if your column breaks. 2% for 80 before this 90 day before this carcass is just about you can even visually behind the vine as when turning. Car on the road, you will know in you if you feel that there is more blood in one direction than in the other. That means, accordingly, your speakers will come soon. Fuck it, be prepared for this and this. Well, there's no getting away from this. Technologically well. Like minus not minus on, and it is necessary. No, this is a worm gear. These are the kind of constructive vessels, since our cars now all run on slats, no one even suspects that. You need to make the rotation angle turn the same into 1 and the system is built in. No one looks at this parameter at all. If it's not a factory adjustment, double went for it. I understood it to be double. Look here for an hour. I'll show you here. It's clearly visible. labor, but you won't miss the slot on the bipod from exactly the same length, but they can be coated, so be careful. Look, I know strong people miss and I'll crush you, so everything is fine, all the other guys are completely. Why do we make a double spline at the factory during the assembly of a factory one from a double spline? There is something else at the helm and we started a wiki. It turns out on rollers, and when you have all the double knitting needles correctly aligned you have there I interrupt the adjustments and practically. There, well, the thrust will end the same way, our friend will give it, but in any case, she handed over the priest to the toe brin when. Make sure to set the parameter as it is there, the angle of rotation of which one should be the same on both sides of the lot. Well, roughly speaking, if you look visually and you have one side of the rod twisted completely, two are untwisted, this is the first call. The fact that your speakers will come to pizza very soon, plus if while driving you feel that the car is in one direction. She turns to the left faster. I know that this happened often. I turn right better, like, well, I'll turn around on the road. I can't do it on the left. This also means that it's not adjusted correctly and that's a problem. Now we look, put it in the middle position. It's very easy to find it, yes, well, it kind of feels like we have the middle ones. For me, she will go into the hole without an elevator. Now we are moving to the extreme position. I will show you. I love this, it's normal, no need. Okay, we are all doing something wrong. You were deceived or your column is bad. This is a normal situation. Definitely forge in. At the extreme, lay until in both connected the position of you along the camp there will be a backlash due to which the worm roller breaks because the toe in is disturbed. Well, this is the angle of rotation and when your car moves in a straight line, there is always play. It's just that everything is going to blow. We literally collected 10,000 speakers there and I don't have one, but I'm saying this on principle. This whole adjustment was at home. I kept doing it first of all. The main thing is that we have already shown how to adjust it correctly. The worm is correctly adjusted. The worm is like 90 years old and generally does not need to be at the beginning of the day and it should walk with effort. 2 kilograms, if you get it, it moves very tightly. We add the same thing to the washer, as if we have an adjustment there. On others there is no option. Look at everything now. Hold the adjusting bolt with a screwdriver and tighten it with your shoulder. The sandpaper is just countered at Anna concrete then, in principle, everything is like this, as it were. This branded assembly is worth too. Don't stick around here, you see, it should stick out for 1 kilometer, but on a new car, if you looked, maybe a little bit more. It's not so accurate, but it will help Chuprin himself in assembling and disassembling. That's all I wanted to tell you. Subscribe to channel. Write comments that are not clear. I will ask this be a curve of filling. There are games. Infection measure 200 grams for or you can put on the car and fill up to. There should be some oil leakage and how is the column tilted, but that's why it fills until after. The top one post leaked closed with a stopper. It is advisable to control it all, of course, if there is leakage. You see the mass means control the topping up and well, things like this, everything won't work without oil.